Hi there, this is Nerius, and today I'll be talking about ways to avoid being manipulated by narcissists or sort of like light abusers or people who like to manipulate. And I think I'm going to give you some advice which is actually the best advice that you can get long term, because it'll be mainly oriented about things that you can control and things that are very efficient when dealing with these people. I wanted to create this video because, naturally, I'm interested in psychology, I'm interested in self-development, consciousness, and part of the reason was because I was very bad at socializing at first, and I wanted to learn that. And of course, when you're learning that, you interact with a lot of people, right, through life in general. And I was pretty bad at it, which means I think I was a bit of a victim, right, to many negative experiences, manipulative people manipulating me. Over the years, I think I've gotten way better at noticing manipulation and rejecting that completely. And I think the answer to how to avoid that is a bit of a different answer. And it's a bit of a different answer because it's more difficult than you think, but it is more efficient if you do it this way. Now, let's start off with a general assumption. Of course, I'm in this area of self-development, of psychological self-help and all that, so I know what content is out there. And I can see a lot of stuff about narcissists and manipulators and abusers. And so much, like 80% of that content, if not more, it just keeps talking about how, well, this narcissist did this and that. And look at how they're doing this. And then they're doing that. And then they're doing this. And oh, these evil people. It's like, I know that makes you feel good, calling them bad people and all that. But that's not the most efficient way to deal with them, because you're just complaining about how bad they are. And I'm sure they are. They actually are. They can be. But if you want to overcome these situations and not be subject to these situations in life, you really have to ask the fundamental question, which is, it's not that, oh, why are they doing this and all that? There's going to be bad people trying to do bad things for the rest of your life. Don't worry about that, okay? You won't be able to eliminate them. So, at least not at this stage of civilizational evolution, because we haven't even started properly recognizing that we have a psychology and a consciousness as a society, as a broad society, right? So, don't worry about that. What you can do, however, is start going, wait a second, but why am I a victim to these situations? And how does that work, like from my side, okay? Because I grew up in some, semi-dangerous neighborhoods as a kid and had some experiences with various people, nothing drastic, but, Eastern Europe after the USSR fall was still a pretty interesting place to be in, So I noticed certain things, and everybody that lived in a dangerous neighborhood, or at least was semi-aware, right? When they were a kid, you notice one thing, which is an uncomfortable truth, but mostly it's victims that get victimized. What do I mean by that? Boys that look weak and meek and all that, they're the ones that are going to get picked on mostly. We all know this. And the problem is that bullies in general, they're not, they're like dogs. They sniff out fear, they sniff out weakness, and they focus in on that. Very rarely do you see a bully attacking another bully of the same size or of the same psychological makeup, right? Because, they know it's going to be more dangerous to them. There's truth in that, in all this dynamic, in manipulators, in narcissists, and all that. Now, the main weapon that they utilize, because we're not, proper violence and all that, that's the case for police to deal with and to put them in jail. We're talking about subtle manipulation, right? Subtle put downs and subtle ways to make you do things that you do not want to do and all that. What does it all hinge on? What I learned over the years of trying to overcome that myself is that most of it hinges on the fact that if you experience that very often, it probably means that you are quite reactive psychologically. What does that mean? It means that you expect your feelings to be fulfilled by other people a lot, okay? you want to be seen as a good person. You want to be seen as a nice person. You don't want to make another person's feelings feel bad, and you're very susceptible to feeling guilty. Manipulative people can sniff out people that can easily feel guilty. Can feel, oh man, yeah, I should help them. Oh man, I feel so bad, right? All of that. This isn't a bad trait, and a lot of people, they turn to the other side and go, okay, I'm just gonna be an asshole for the rest of my life against everyone. I'm just gonna hate people. No. That's another weak way out. The real truth is that unless you develop the ability to be a self-centered, grounded, self-regulated person, you will be seeking emotions and experiences from other people. And if you have a person, a bully type, a narcissist type, that is like, yeah, I don't see a problem like manipulating you, they will see that and they will utilize that as a kind of a weakness, right? Because now they can go and say, hey man or girl, I'm gonna give you that, or I'm not gonna give you that, and based on what you do, right, I know that that'll make you feel bad, right, if you don't do this or if you do this. So they can do these actions which have a certain leverage point. A leverage point is that, for example, you feel guilty for doing something, right? So they might be able to say something or to make you feel in a certain way, and they know if they get you to that point, you'll go, okay, I'll do anything that you want, basically. So the answer to that isn't just, oh, well, they did a manipulative technique on me. Yeah, that's an issue. But the real issue is that you reacted to that. And the reason why you reacted to that is because probably as a person, you are too open source, You're too always dependent on other people. Typically, from my experience, these types of people, they lack the ability to self-regulate. They lack a healthy self-centrism, which in our context means that they can kind of understand that they're actually capable of creating some feelings inside themselves. They don't desperately need everyone else. So the answer, the long-term answer, and the proper answer to like becoming more resistant to manipulators and narcissists and all that, sure, you can learn some techniques on how they do it. That can be useful. But most importantly, you have to learn to self-soothe, self-regulate, self-motivate, to love yourself, to become a bit of a center of your own universe. Because when you will become like that, and you're like, yeah, I can feel good about myself, I'm confident in myself. When the manipulator will try to do something, you'll go, yeah, but I don't need approval from you, okay? I'm not that desperate. Ergo, because I'm not that desperate, I can go, it's a bit of a manipulative tactic that you're doing. And that's how you'll actually become resistant to these things over the long term. That's a way better strategy than anything else, trust me. Because it removes the very hooks on which you can be hooked on, which is way better than trying to find every single tactic that they will use and trying to defend from all that. Just remove the hooks. Be more self-reliant psychologically. Be self-regulating. Become more of a grounded and centered person, okay? It'll help you tremendously. If you want to do that, become a more grounded, self-centered person, I do have a free video that talks about the 3 fundamental principles of self-regulation and self-transformation. It's a distillation of like 10, 15 years of my own experience and learning to do these things, So it's a good, concise foundation that when you learn that, you'll go, okay, now I know the direction that I can develop myself into and ways to do that. So check that out. And of course, if you need some personal help, you want some personal help, some one-on-one coaching on developing these skills, you can learn more about that in the link below. So thank you for watching, and until next time.